guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Anitra Cherie, and I am here with another video. It's not your typical vlog video. It can be a vlog video, but it's just not a lifestyle everyday vlog video. This video that I am doing today is pretty much a video to get to know me. It is to get to know me type video. Me to just tell you a little bit about myself, where I came from, what I do, and just a little bit. It's pretty much a chit chat video. I'm just gonna sit down and have a little talk with you guys about my life, a little bit about my life, how I got here, because I get sometimes people say, hey, well, where did you come from? How are you? Where were you born? And all this other things. So I just figured I'll do, you know what, a sit down video and just pretty much like chat with y'all about who I am, what I'm about, because I know as a YouTuber, some of the people that follow you sometimes want to get to know who you are and what you do, what you like to do, what you do for fun, and, you know, just a little background history of myself, you know, just to tell you a little bit about my life, more a little bit in depth, but sitting down rather than vlogging or driving and vlogging or walking and vlogging. So you do not see Tiffany in this video today because this video is strictly about my perspective on life. My life, not my life, not our life. And that will be another video in a later day, which is going to be a get to know us type video. This video is strictly a get to know me video. So without further ado, you guys already know, let's jump into it. First and foremost, you guys, I am 37 years old and I will be 38 in April. Yes, I am almost 40, y'all. I am pushing 40, but I thank God that He blessed me all these 37 years to see it, and I'm just praying that He blessed me to see 38. I was born and raised in Pontiac, Michigan. Yes, I said Pontiac, Michigan. Pontiac, Michigan is like a small city that's center of Metro Detroit area. So whenever I tell people I'm from Michigan, they're like, oh, Detroit? And I'm like, no, honey, I'm from Pontiac. Well, where is that at? And I say, well, it is considered a city metro of Detroit, but I'm not from Detroit. So I am born and raised in Pontiac, Michigan, and grew up my whole life in Michigan. I went to middle school, I went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and I started college here in Michigan. Growing up as a little girl, I will say that my life was perfect from a certain age point. And what I mean by that is that my mother was awesome. Like, she spared no expenses when it came to me. She made sure that I had and needed everything that I wanted. Remind you, if I did not tell you already, I am the only child of my mom, so I was raised as an only child. My dad has 3 other children, so my dad has a total of 4 and my mom has 1. But I wasn't as active in my dad's life when I was younger, more so than my mom. I've always been involved with my mom, and my life. My mom has always been involved in my life. So pretty much my life was pretty much me and my mom for the longest time ever. I do remember some of the boyfriends that she had, and it was probably one. Literally, my mom hardly ever brought a man around me, and the only men that she brought around me was her current husband that she has now and her ex-boyfriend, which I remember his name being Thomas. And my mom was very discreet about who she brought around me, male figures, whoever. So growing up, I was an only child. I was spoiled rotten. When I tell you I got what I wanted, I got what I wanted. My mom made sure I had everything. Literally, from a basketball to a Tucker truck to a boy doll to a girl doll, doll houses, everything. My mom was the MVP. My mom was the shit. You know what? If it wasn't for my mom, I don't think I would be the type of woman that I am today and the mother that I am today. I spent a lot of my childhood at my grandparents' house because my mom worked. So my grandmother and my grandfather, or my pawpaw, I don't call him grandfather, I call my grandmother Granny, and my pawpaw, my grandfather pawpaw. So my granny and my pawpaw took care of me during the day while my mom worked. So I spent a great deal of my time at my grandparents' house. And that's where I have most of my fun memories growing up, because those were the days where we were kids. We go outside and play kickball, we play hide and go seek, we played dodgeball, we played curves, like we bounced the ball up the curves. We did all those things growing up. And my grandmother had quite a few grandchildren that she took care of during the day. So I've never seen the inside of a daycare in my life. I didn't start getting sociable with other kids outside of my family until I started preschool. And I started preschool at a pretty young age. I want to say 4. I may be wrong. But I did start preschool at a pretty young age, and then I went on to kindergarten, but ended up having to repeat kindergarten because my mom felt that I wasn't ready enough to move forward to the 1st grade. So for the most part, I spent most of my life, or most of my childhood, at my grandmother's house. And I did most of my fun and memorable kid activities at my grandmother's house. So it was just me and my mom for a long time, from the time I can remember till I was about 10 years old, and that's when she met her husband. When she first met her husband and I first met him, I enjoyed his company. I, didn't have an issue with him. I was like, okay, Mom, I like him. Fast forward a few months, I didn't get along with him very well at all. He was very mean to me. He was like a grown bully. It's almost like he did not like me. Why? I don't know. But it was like, it was horrible. I just did not, we just didn't get along. And it was just something that I could not wait till I became an adult. But whenever I would go to my grandmother's house, I felt like my granny's house was safe haven. So that's where I would love to spend almost all my time. I never wanted to go home. So when I was 12 years old and my grandmother passed away, I felt like a part of my soul died with her. Because at that point, there was no reason for me to really go over my granny house. And I never went over my granny house. My grandfather was still alive, or my papa, and he still lived there, but I never went over there after that. After that, I was pretty much just stayed at home with my mom and my stepdad, and I went to school from my mom's house versus my grandmother's house. So that means I had to switch schools. And I had to switch schools anyways because they shut the school down prior to my grandmother dying. But anyways, when my grandmother died, I felt a part of my life died. A part of my soul died. It was almost like I just didn't have no voice. Like, my grandmother always protected me from everything. Like, she knew how I felt. She knew what was going on. She just, to be honest with you, I don't think she liked him either. I may be wrong. Mom, forgive me if you're watching this video, but I'm just giving a little history and background about myself. But anyways, when I became older, the older I got, the more rebellious I got against my mom. So it's almost like the perfect relationship that my mother and I had turned into this tarnished relationship. It's almost like I hated my mom. I didn't hate her, but it was like I hated her. Like, I had this strong thing for her where I was like, Mom, I just don't want to live with you no more. I don't even want to live here. Let me go live with my dad. And I didn't feel accepted by my dad completely, and I never really called him dad. I always called him hey you. I think it took me to middle school to call him dad. And the reason why I felt like that, because I felt like my dad loved my brother more than he loved me. He always made me feel very uncomfortable. Not saying that he said anything or did anything mean to me. I just knew that my dad favored my brother. And to this day, I still feel like that. And I tell my dad, you favor him more than you favor your other children. You cradle him more. You make excuses for him more. Like, you cover up everything that he do. It's like, I feel like he does. That's just how I feel. And that's how I used to always have my brother go get my dad. I never called him dad. I don't know how old I was when I started calling him daddy. I always called him hey you, hey, or however you want to call it, because I never felt comfortable with calling him dad. I felt like he sometimes, and I told him about this, but anyways, he made me feel like I was not his child. I know it's like my brother always was like the spoiled one by him. And my brother always got his way with him. And no matter what happened, if it was something that he did, I got in trouble for it no matter what. It was like that I just felt like he didn't like me. So I always had to call my dad collect, because at the time, I don't know if y'all remember 1-800-COLLECT. I always had to call him collect, because whenever I tried to call him, my stepdad would always have an issue because he said phone bill, blah, 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 blah. I just remember I told y'all he was just a complete asshole to me. So I didn't really talk to my dad that much even then in middle school, because he had moved from Michigan back to Louisiana, where he's from, and I didn't have like constant communication with him. However, as I got older, our relationship changed. Our relationship became more like a father-daughter relationship. But I think the breaking point was when I became an adult. My dad was more present. My dad was more prominent as a dad. My dad made me feel like a daughter. Like, I actually say, hi dad. Unlike when I was younger, like I said, it took me to about middle school before I called him daddy. I couldn't even acknowledge him as dad because I did not feel comfortable calling him dad. I was scared. But now that I'm grown and I'm an adult, like, me and my dad has one of the most amazing relationships. Like, I talk to him all the time, every holiday, every birthday, just regular. Like, I feel like we talk maybe twice a week, maybe, or pretty much I keep in constant contact with my dad. Like, I have like one of the most amazing relationships with my parents. Although they're not together, like, I have one of the most amazing relationships with my parents, my mom and my dad. And now that I'm an adult, I have even more strong relationship with my dad. I don't know, maybe because it's growth, because I could have been one of those bitter grown women and hated him because I didn't feel like he loved me enough as if he loved it, just like he loved his son when I was a child. But I didn't hold on to that resentment, because what for? Like, my dad is 70-something years old now, and I'm about to be 38. I'm gonna love on my dad until God says time for him to go. So, hey, whatever I felt when I was younger, he knows about it. I told him how I felt, but it was no hard feelings. I got over it. I have a relationship with my dad now, and it's amazing. So, hey. So, when I told my mom I just want to go live with my dad, my mom looked at me like, what? And hauled off and smacked the living crap out of me. Yo, when I tell y'all, she backhanded me so bad, she pretty much will swipe that thought right out my head. But it wasn't because of me not having a relationship with my dad. It was because me saying that kind of hurt her feelings. It's like I kind of insulted her. And I probably did, but growing up as a teenager and on estrogen hormones, I knew that I was not happy at home, and I knew that I was beginning to mentally, I ended up falling into a depression, and I became very depressed. And I think it had a lot to contribute with me growing up and going through school, because I was bullied my whole life from the time I started school to the year I graduated. And then had to be bullied by my stepdad. He's never ever put his hands on me. However, he was just very mean and nasty towards me. It was like, he was just mean. However, I began to fall into a mindset of depression. And when I tell you guys, I didn't want to live. I felt that there was no purpose in life. I fell into like this deep depression, and I didn't care about life. I didn't care about anything. I just said, forget it. Whatever happens, happens. I even wanted to commit suicide. And my mom didn't know that at the time. I don't know if she knew that I was depressed or what was going on, but I think she would have had an idea that I was unhappy. She just thought it was just pretty much a typical me being a teenager. But when I tell you guys, it was far beyond unhappiness. I was miserable. I just wanted to die. I did not want to live. I was unhappy. I could not live my life for me. I could not defend my life for me. I had to live my life based off how everybody else wanted me to live my life. Not only that, I had to constantly go through scrutiny at school and at home. Now, I'm not saying that my mom was a bad mom at the time, but in my mind, I felt like my mom didn't love me no more. So this was from the time she met my stepdad and got married to him till I'm gonna say when I was 18. Anyways, I started becoming rebellious, acting out, doing things that, can lead to a path of destruction. Like, I just didn't give a damn. I tried to bust my stepdad car windows out, hit him with a bat, cut him with a knife. I hated his guts. And at that point, I kind of hated my mom's guts, but I never did anything to try to cause harm to my mom. I just didn't like this man. This man was making me so, like, it was just a lot. Between school and that, I'm like, I could not take no more. So one day, I just like, I don't want to live no more. So I didn't care about life. So any and everything that I did from, I'm going to say, roughly 15 to 18 was pretty much I don't care. I got into trouble. I went to jail. Yes, you guys, I went to jail. I had to do scare straight. I didn't stay. I was just there for a couple hours. I had to do scare straight. I ended up having to do community service, and my mom ended up having to pay, I want to say some type of, maybe like a couple $100s of restitution for my behavior, because I was doing things that I knew better, that I had no business doing, but I did not care about life. I began to, once I got in trouble and my mom knew that I was suicidal, she tried to check me into a mental hospital. And I was like, Mom, if you leave me here at this mental hospital, I will kill myself. Do not take me to this mental hospital. I would much rather die. I'm already stressed. I'm already depressed. I'm already having a miserable life. If you take me there, it's going to make matters worse. I'm just telling you now. Long story short, she didn't end up taking me there. However, it was still the same old story, the same old tune. Nothing changed. So, when I became 18, I ended up pregnant with my daughter. And I was still a senior in high school. I had my daughter. I was pregnant with my daughter in high school. I gave birth to her when I was still a senior in high school. Everybody just knew that I was going to be a high school dropout, that I was not going to make it through high school because I ended up pregnant. I wasn't going to amount to nothing. I was going to be a deadbeat mom. I was just going to be another one of these hood rats out here with a baby and a dropout. My mom's husband was like, I'm not going to have nothing to do with that baby Jenny. She pregnant. She went out there and got herself pregnant. Pretty much I was just all these nasty things. Me telling my mom that I was pregnant, I don't know what it was. I want to say that maybe my daughter was an angel in disguise, because my daughter brought the relationship that me and my mom had prior to her getting married back together. It was almost like my daughter was that mending fence, because I thought when I told my mom I was pregnant, she was going to kick me out. She was going to abandon me. She was going to be like, oh, you on your own. But she did the total opposite. When I told her that I was pregnant, she paced up and down the block, up and down the street, smoking her little cigarette, her E menthol like 120s. I remember that. And once she finally she calmed down and she realized that I was pregnant. She asked me how far along I was. I told her I wasn't sure yet because I haven't had an ultrasound. I just knew that I was pregnant. So she said, what are your plans? And I was like, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I know that she told me that, well, my plans are, you're not having an abortion. You're going to have this baby. You're going to finish high school. You're going to go to school every day up until you have that baby. Nothing's going to change. And I was like, okay, Mom. I was going to do that anyways. So you guys, throughout my whole pregnancy, I went to school every single day up until the day I went in labor. I literally went in labor at school with my daughter. But I did not go home because it was just the start of the contraction. This was on a Friday. So I gave birth to my daughter that following Sunday. And my stepdad was still against it. He was like, no, JD, I don't have nothing to do with this baby, blah, 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 blah. The day I went home, maybe a couple of days later, he said, JD, can you go upstairs and get that baby? Talking about my baby, my daughter. And my mom was looking at him like, for what? Or this probably was what she was thinking, or she was telling me, why? My mom came and got my baby so I can get some sleep, because having a newborn baby and still trying to finish school was no joke, because I had my daughter in March. I didn't graduate high school until June. So I still had a 3-month period where I still had to finish school, have a baby, get up early in the morning, drive to school, drive her to my cousin to watch her, get back to my house to catch the school bus. But then my mom stopped that because I ended up driving her car to school after that, because it was just too much. So I would drop my daughter off to the babysitter, which was my cousin, and then I went to school because I drove my mom's car. Anyways, she would come upstairs and come get the baby. And when I tell you, this man instantly fell in love with my daughter. The same person that said that he wanted absolutely nothing to do with me, he fell in love with my daughter. Like, Asia was everything to him. She could do no wrong. She got what she wanted. She never got this. When I became pregnant, my mom and our relationship pretty much ended. It was like there was no division between us. And I never ever got in trouble again after that. I think I was probably on a path of destruction prior to me having my daughter. And it was actually a good thing that my daughter was born, because had she not been born, who knows what I would have done? Who knows if I would have went through with the suicide? Who knows if I would have went through with doing things that would have ended, I would have ended up in jail or ended up in prison. Like, I had, at that age, that's when I started being very temperamental. I was very short-tempered. I didn't have no patience because I got tired. I was fed up with being humiliated, being bullied. And I think, not saying that getting pregnant at a teenage, unwed mother was God's will, but I think that was probably a kind of, was something that probably God did to guide me in the right direction, because I feel like I was probably on a path of destruction, a place where I did not need to be. I had my daughter. I finished high school. Y'all, let me tell y'all, I still did every activity with the school. I could not play the sports, but I was still able to attend all the sports. I was still able to go to all the games. I even wanted to run for court, but the school was against it because I was pregnant. I still got my Leatherman jacket because I got that the year before because I played softball. I did everything my senior year. I even went to prom. I will, you know, I'm going to insert a prom picture here so you guys can see that I still did everything. I went to prom and I graduated on time. I didn't have like no 4.0, but I want to say I had about a 3.2 maybe when I graduated. But I still graduated on time, still went to school, still did all my work, even pregnant, even giving birth. My homework was sent home to me, and I finished my homework at home and sent it back to school. I graduated on time, and I wanted to go off to college because my dreams was to be an actress. And I still have those dreams and aspirations of being an actress. If it happens, it happens. Who knows? I feel like I'm getting older now, so what's the chances of me ever becoming an actress? I don't know. You know, can't ever sleep on things just because your age. So anyways, my goal was to go off to LA to be an aspiring actress or to get involved in theater and all that stuff out there, which that didn't work out. But hold on, before that, I was going to go into the military, and I ended up backing out of that, and then I ended up pregnant. So that was another reason why I didn't go to the military. But my ultimate dream goal was to my goals was to be an actress. So I wanted to go to LA to do theater school, and I knew that was impossible because I had a baby. And my mom told me that I was going to have all responsibility for my child, but she wasn't going to let me suffer, and she didn't. When I tell you, she bought almost everything I needed for my baby. She bought everything I needed for my baby. There was things that I purchased, but she literally bought everything that I needed for my daughter. So I didn't struggle in high school, my senior year at all. I was able to still do everything I wanted. When I think about it, I got my Leatherman jacket during my senior year. I had my letter, I got that my junior year at the end of the school year, but I got my Leatherman jacket during my senior year, and I was pregnant with my daughter. I got a class ring, I got everything. I had to pay for all that type of stuff, my prom dress, all that type of stuff, but I worked too. So I was able to do those things. I was working at Walmart. But when it came to me providing for my daughter, I had my mom's 100% support. Like, it was like I had my mom back. Like, I had the nurturing and love that I always had from my mother after I got pregnant. Once I graduated high school, I was like, I am moving out, Mom. I am getting my own place. I can't stay here no more. I don't want no more trauma. I don't want none of that. But I need my own place. I need my own space. So that September, either that September or before, I ended up moving into my very first own apartment. To remind you, I had just got a car, so I had a car note. I was working full time, and I had a baby. And that fall, I went back to school. I actually started out at OCC, Oakland Community College. I went to school, and I was in a theater program that I started off at OCC. And it was hard because me moving out on my own, me having a car note, me working full time, and a part-time student, I was like, oh my gosh, how the hell am I gonna do this? And I had turned 19 because my birthday was that April. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna do this? My mom was against me moving out. She was like, no, just stay home. I was like, Mom, I can't. I mean, I love you with all my heart, but I cannot stay here anymore. I cannot take it. So I moved out, got my own place. Even with me moving out, I still had my mom's full support. Fast forward, I was in college, OCC, doing a theater arts program, and I was in love with the program. And I met this girl. I'm not gonna name no names. It was not Tiffany. However, I met this girl. I don't even remember where I met her at. I want to say I met her at OCC. And we were friends, I guess, benefits, I guess is what you want to call it. But it wasn't like that. I had a baby, but she wasn't against me having a baby. But I could not talk about her. I could not tell people I had a female friend or I was having relationships with a female friend because I still felt like I had to live in a lie. I couldn't live in my identity because had I told my mama that or told anybody that, then I felt that would have brought another rift between my mother and I. And I did not want that. Fast forward, we all went to Newberry Way Church. They changed it to Door Faith or something like that. That was the church, but that was my church home. That was the church I was a part of, and we had a group of friends, and that's where I met my ex-husband. I was at work one day, and his mom walked into Walmart and was like, "Hey, I know somebody that like you," and I was like, "Oh, really? That's nice." And eventually she came back again, either the next day or the same day, and she was like, "Yeah, it's my son." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, no." And I was like, we were all friends. It was all of the friends, and I was just one of the friends in the group, one of the female friends beside other ones. And I was like, "Your son." He comes into Walmart that same day and say, "Hey, you want to go out on a date?" Blah, blah, blah. And at first I was hesitant because I had my friend, my female friend. But he didn't know about it. But I couldn't tell him, no, I have my female friend. So anyways, I said, "Yeah, sure, let's go out." That's when his mom came into Walmart again and was like, "Well, my son really, really, really likes you. He thinks you're really, really cute," and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, y'all church people. I got a baby. I had a baby out of wedlock. I like girls. Come on now. How is that gonna look? Y'all real Christians. Y'all the type of people that don't want, your child messing with somebody who has kids or who has had relationships with people before. And he comes in around the same day or after that and was like, "You don't really like me, do you?" And I didn't want to tell him no, but I didn't want to say it wasn't like that. Because in a sense, it wasn't that I didn't really like him. I wasn't really into him. I was into what I was into, which was a girl. And I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So long story short, my mom knew who he was. My friends knew who he was. And everybody that was in my circle was like, "Anisha, you should go out with him, blah, 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 blah." And at first I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to date him. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Pretty much I could not tell my family or my friends that I was actually dating a girl. So I kind of felt like I was pressured into being in a relationship with a guy because I had to live my life how they wanted to, how they wanted me to live my life. And I didn't want to let my mom down. I didn't want to lose that relationship that I had with my mom. And my mom always told me that she wanted 4 grandkids. And I was like, "I'm not going to give you no 4 grandkids. I may give you 1 or 2 because I do want a girl boy, but I may not give you 4 grandkids." I ended up getting married. I got married when I was 20 or 21. Somewhere around there. I was young. I ended up marrying him, which is my son's father. I married him. But throughout my whole marriage, I think it was probably a mistake. My son wasn't the mistake, but I think me getting married at such a young age was a mistake because I didn't know who I was. I didn't identify who I was, and I wasn't myself in the marriage. I was something that other people wanted me to be, which was this daunting housewife to a male and not a housewife to a woman. Everything that I did in my life with a male, I feel now that I'm older, I could have did it with a woman, which is what I'm doing now. However, I was a wife, had my son, and I think I was 22 when I gave birth to my son. I gave birth to him in 2004. However, y'all do the math. I don't exactly remember the age bracket, but I ended up giving birth to my son in 2004. And after I had my son, to remind you, throughout my whole marriage with him, all we did was argue. All we did was fight. We didn't physically fight, but all we did was have arguments because I was not happy. He wasn't doing things to make me happy, and I don't think I was doing things to make him happy. I was always, so he say, bitter, or not bitter, like naggy. And it wasn't that I was naggy. It was just that I felt like it wasn't going how I wanted to go. And I think in reality, now that I think about it, I wasn't where I wanted to be. Because if y'all saw my Q&A video, I was like, I will go into more details about this aspect, and I'm about to go into details right now. Throughout my whole marriage, all I did was talk about Tiffany. She'd be like, I don't believe that. But when I started telling her the details and how I knew her, things she was doing, even when I wasn't in Michigan, I moved away from Michigan in 2003. And I didn't come back to Michigan until 2016. So I was gone about roughly 13 years. Anyways, I knew everything about this girl, even throughout my marriage. When I gave birth to my son in 2004, I ended up coming back home at the end of 2004 because I was done with my marriage. I was just completely over it. I was like, you know what? I don't really want to do this. I'm not happy. He not doing things that I want him to do. Like, he wooed me from the beginning, like charmed my shoes off my feet, literally. But then when I moved away, everything changed. I'm not saying that he's a bad person, because he's not a bad person. That's what I'm not perpetuating. I'm just saying I was miserable and I was not happy. Anyways, I came back home. I gave birth to my son. Came back home in December. Ironically, Tiffany's grandmother passed away. And I had just had my baby. So, you know, after you just have a baby, you still swollen, bloated, chunky. And that was me. And I had silly braids in my hair. Like, I had these cornrows in my hair. I was just a hot mess. And she walks through the door, and I saw her, and I was like, what the fuck is she doing here? And I realized that these are her people. My ex-husband's people is her people. Okay, let me clarify. My ex-husband is not related to them by blood. He's related to them by marriage. So no, I did not keep it in the family technically, but it kind of still in the family because it's blood, because it's Tiffany's blood relatives, but it's not Sean blood relatives. He's joined with the family by marriage. Anyways, which my ex-father-in-law is Tiffany's uncle. That's her birth uncle. Which was, so Tiffany's grandmother on her dad's side was my father-in-law's sister. Anyways, she had passed away, and they had the repast at their house. And I see her walk through the door, and I was like, and I took a double take. I'm like, this can't be Tiffany. And when I saw it clear as day with my eyes that it was Tiffany, I about shitted my pants. I was completely thrown off. I was completely nervous. I was like, I was in the middle of like prepping stuff for them to have for the repast. So when I saw her, I took off running upstairs because I looked a hot mess. I did not want this girl to see me looking like this because I'm thinking to myself that if there's ever a chance that I end up with her or meet her, I don't want her to be like, oh, you was that fat girl, or you was that girl that was blah, 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 blah. Anyways, I ran upstairs and did not come back down until she left. Anyways, throughout my whole marriage, I talked about this girl, Tiffany. And my ex-husband will always call me a carpet muncher. I told him if we get a divorce, I'm gonna be with a woman because that's what I really wanted. And that was my way of kind of putting it out there, which was a girl. Anyways, throughout my whole marriage, my ex-husband called me a carpet muncher. For those of you who don't know who a carpet muncher is, it's a gay woman. Where the terminology came from, I don't know. I don't know if it's because we got two vaginas and they call it carpet munching or whatever you want to call it. But that's what he called me, a carpet muncher. And it was hilarious to me. I laughed, he laughed. But in reality, I knew what I wanted for it. In the midst of our divorce, we had some disagreements that were conflicting, and I just couldn't get over them. And I knew that that was something that I just couldn't deal with. And I honestly feel that that was my escape. That was my way of getting out. I was not happy in the situation, and I knew that the situation probably was my cue to finally leave. I didn't want to divide my family because my kids pressured me and begged me and said, Mom, no, don't do this, don't do that. So everything that I did and all the decisions that I made them always based on everybody else other than my own opinion. So finally this time, I based it on my own decision. And okay, I'm going to be honest, throughout the divorce and when I got a divorce, yeah, I was sad, yeah, I was crying, yeah, I was hurt. Because I felt like I just got played. And I felt like I wasted 10 and a half years of my life. Well, 11 years of my life. 10 and a half years being married of my life for nothing. Like I sacrificed so much. I gave up everything. All my dreams, all my aspirations, all my goals to help somebody else accomplish their goals. Only to, go on and be successful while I'm still back here trying to start over and rebuild. I think that's where I was hurt the most. Anyways, I got a divorce in December of 2013, and that's when I really started living. I wasn't dating Tiffany, but that's when I started living. I ended up having acquaintances with Tiffany back in January of 2014. That's when we became acquainted, physically acquainted, as far as talking on the phone and FaceTiming each other at the time, but we wasn't dating. But in the midst of it, she had her friends or her female friends or somebody that she was dealing with, and I had my female friend that I was dealing with. To be honest with you, I didn't like the relationship that I was in with the female friend. I just wasn't really into her like that because she wasn't a bad person. I just wasn't into her like that. And to me, she was moving too fast. I had just got out of a divorce. So me coming out of a freshly new divorce and then jumping into another relationship and it going too fast wasn't it just wasn't what was up. And to be honest with you, I really wanted to be with somebody else. When she found out that, I knew that she had a friend. I'm not going to name any names because it's pointless of naming names. She was dealing with somebody that she said they was just friends, but they were still fooling around and doing whatever. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to disrespect the relationship that you in, but I'm going to move forward and go on and have a relationship too. Because I wasn't going to wait, but at the same time, I knew what I wanted. So anyways, when Tiff found out that I was talking to that girl, me and Tiff pretty much stopped communication altogether. I didn't talk to Tiff for maybe about a month and a half. And then I ended up messaging her, telling her happy birthday on her birthday. And she replied back, thank you. But I didn't hear nothing else from her after that. Well, fast forward to, I want to say July-ish, maybe? June, July. Somewhere around in July is when I stopped talking to the other girl. And Tiffany was still, was on my heart. Tiffany was who I wanted. But I just didn't have, I just couldn't have her. She had her friends. She was already dating. I don't know if she was officially dating. I think she was just mingling. Let her tell it. I don't know. That's something she had to tell y'all. I'm just going to go by how I perceived it. I felt like she was in a relationship. Around July-ish time frame, I got a message from her. And it was just a simple message saying, hey, how are you? I was thinking about you. Just checking on you. Just wanted to see how you was doing. And I was shocked. when I got that message, I can't remember if it was a text message or email. It was one of the two. When I got the message, either way it goes, I was completely shocked because she had pretty much had, closed me out, because she was the type of person that said, I'm not gonna be talking to somebody who's already in a relationship. But the thing of it is, she was in a whole relationship, so I think it was like a control thing with her. Or she thought I probably was playing games with her. She probably didn't think I was being real with her. She probably didn't think I was being genuine with her, because I never told her physically that I wanted to be in a relationship with her. I just told her how much I liked her, how much I was infatuated with her. I was actually scared to tell her how I knew her, but I ended up telling her at the beginning stages of how we knew. At the beginning of the year, when we first started talking, we was friends, but in the midst of our friendship, we had cut all communication. Like, I didn't talk to her. I used to talk to her every single day. Like, we used to FaceTime like it was none other. Everything was cool and everything was good. I knew that she had her friends that she was dealing with, somebody that she was, mingling with. So I respected that. So I'm like, you know what? She's doing her thing. I'm gonna just go out and do my thing. And Tiff wasn't okay with that. I don't know why she wasn't okay. That is something that she have to explain to you, because I may explain it and I may say the wrong thing. And I'm just, saying it how I saw it. And I was like, dang, that's cold. But I didn't feel like it had to do with me dating somebody. I think she was just being mean and nasty to me, because she was doing something special for another friend and she didn't want me to know about it. But I'm thinking to myself, you're not dating me, so you don't have to hide anything from me. Just do you. Like, I respect that more than anything. We pretty much, actually I want to say we stopped talking in April, because my birthday rolled around April 16th and she didn't message me happy birthday. That completely broke my heart. When it came time to, and I didn't talk to her no more after that. She did message me saying that I was doing something for family and blah blah blah. You just this, you just that. I'm like, whatever. You can do whatever you need to do with family, but you was being mean for being nasty to me them whole few days, because you wasn't doing nothing for family. You was doing something for the friend that you were fucking, and you thought I was gonna be mad about that, which I didn't have no place or no room to be mad at that. You could have just said you were doing something for your friend for their celebration. Well, anyways, my birthday rolled around, didn't get no happy birthday, no nothing from her. It like kind of devastated me. So I was like, okay, I guess this really done talking. So I didn't hear from her no more after that. No FaceTime, no phone calls, no nothing. Her birthday rolls around in June. I sent her a message, and I think that's the time I sent her this long, lengthy message, and I told her how I actually felt. And either I sent that message on her birthday or after. Either way it goes, I sent her a happy birthday message. She said thank you. And then I sent her a long, lengthy message about how I felt, where my feelings was, how I felt about her, and however it went. Come July, like I told y'all, I don't know if it was July or August. It was around that same time frame. I got a call from her or a message from her, just checking on me, seeing how I felt or how I was doing. Just a friend checking up on a friend. And I was shocked. I'm like, she played on my mind. She fucking with my head. She not being genuine. But the message came off genuine. So I replied back. Long story short, we started back communicating as friends. And that's when I told her my truth. I told her that I really do like you. Like, I'm not playing no games. My heart is really for you. Like, I really, really care. And October rolled around. I don't know how it happened, but Tiffany will tell you that I always called her a woman whore. And she thought it was funny because I was like, you're a little woman whore. She's like, I wasn't no woman whore, I was just a pimp. And I was like, whatever, you ain't no pimp, you're a woman whore. Anyways, she still had her friends doing her thing, mingling, but she was the one that was smashing the girls. They wasn't touching her, but she was touching them. That's another story that we're going to have, because it's completely funny about the details that she tells me about how she dressed and everything when she smashed. Anyways, so she was still doing her thing, hoeing these girls, and I thought I was gonna be one of the girls that she was hoeing. So I told her that I didn't want to be in that category. Like, if you gonna like me, you gonna like me. October, one day, I don't know how it happened, and then she started telling me that, okay, I do like you, Anitra. I'm just nervous about a long distance relationship, and I'm used to doing A, B, and C, and I'm used to A, B, and C. And I'm like, Tiffany, but I'm not A, B, and C. I'm totally different from the A, B, and C. I can give you the whole alphabet, but I'm not that type of person. October 23rd was when we made a relationship official for her and I. But here is the problem. When we became official, her female friends or acquaintances, whatever they're called, did not take it serious. They did not respect it. They did not respect me. They did not respect her. I all of a sudden started getting all these type of inbox messages. Fast forward. These women didn't respect nothing when it came to her and I. She would go out to her friends' parties, and these girls would think they would just walk up to her and give her a kiss, or hug on her, or say stuff to her like, "Bunk your girl." And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that she wasn't, enforcing it. Hey, no, I got a girl. You bitches back off. I got a whole girl. Yeah, she may all be over in Kelly, but that's not changing nothing. Anyways, when we first met, she actually picked me up from the airport, and I was so freaking nervous. I was like, my heart was pounding on my chest. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to meet this girl for the first time in person, and she about to meet me. I'm like, do I look cute? Am I okay? Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, when I finally saw her, my nerves was completely shocked. But we met in person, and then at that moment, I knew that I was where I wanted to be. I finally started to be me, live my truth. Not so much saying because I was with Tiffany. It was just the fact that I was finally being open about my identity as a gay woman. I had to be what everybody else wanted me to be. And I think it all stemmed because I was bullied so much in life that I thought had I came out openly, I was going to be bullied. Now here we in 2020. Everything is a lot different in 2020. But I think when I was growing up at that time, it was not acceptable. I knew at that moment that Tiffany was for me. When it got time for me to leave to go home, I did not want to leave. I cried like a freaking baby. When I tell you I pushed it to the limits, my flight, I only had 30 minutes to get to the terminal. Because that's how much I did not want to leave. I was convincing her to try to move to Cali. And she probably would have, but at the time she couldn't. So I made a decision to move back home. And making the decision to move back home at the time was a great decision. But to be relatively honest, when I moved back home, I didn't know it was going to be so hard to transition and start over. It was completely different. I thought it was going to be easier. Anyways, when I finally just was like, fuck what everybody thinks, and was open about who I was dating, who I was messing with, surprisingly, my family accepted it. I think my mom was a little weary because my mom said, no, Nitra, you have to have more kids. And I'm like, well, me and Tiffany can have kids if we decide to have kids. And she's like, no, Nitra, you gotta have kids with a man. I want you to get married to another guy that's gonna treat you right. And I was like, Mom, that's the problem. Everybody wants me to date who they want me to date. Everybody wants me to be who they want me to be. If I have to be honest with you, I was dating a whole ass woman or messing with girls before I ever messed with a guy in my whole life. So at this point, I just didn't care about what nobody thought about me. It was either you're gonna like me for who I am, love me and accept me for who I am, or don't like me at all. And at that moment, I kind of felt vindicated because I finally got to live in my truth. My mom didn't know. My dad didn't know. But I know my dad and my mom was probably like, this is not what's up. But they accepted it. And they didn't judge me. Like, hey, they still love me for me. And to this day, they still love me for me. So pretty much bottom line is I went from living in a false mindset to living in my truth, to being finally happy where I want to be. Because if I have to be frank and honest with you guys, I wasn't happy. I'm not saying my whole marriage was a complete fluke because I got my beautiful son out of it. but I think the marriage was a little forced. It was forced because it was what other people wanted, and I stayed because I thought it was the right thing to do for myself and my children. But in reality, the right thing to do was to just be happy with myself. So I needed to learn how to accept me and be happy with me, and just, live my life with me. Because at this moment, I'm just about to live my life with me. In fact, Tiffany and I are engaged now. She asked me to marry her October 23rd, 2019, which was our 5th year anniversary. And I was completely shocked. I was completely thrown off. I was not expecting that. It's a couple times that she might have said, "Would you close your mouth, pick your mouth up? What's your answer?" And long story short, I told her yes. And we've been engaged now for 3 months now. Oh, I put up 3, but 3 months now. And we have a tentative date set. We are now officially engaged. And after 5 years of dating, she asked me to marry her, and I said yes. And after umpteen years of me being a low-key stalker, I finally am in a happy place. All I do know now at this point is that I am finally living life in my truth, in my identity. I can identify Anitra and not give a damn about what other people think about me. Like, if you accept me, you don't. I care about how I'm being perceived to some degree, but I don't care to the fact anymore of how you guys look at me, of how I'm dating, or how I'm living my life. Because it is my life, and I have a right to be happy in my life. And if me being with whoever I want to be with is what makes me happy, then let me be there. A disclaimer: I am not in any way degrading my ex-husband of anything. It's just an unfortunate situation where we just didn't mesh. We were better off just friends versus having a marriage and a relationship. But it's the truth. But I'm not going to hide who I am from other people to be accepted. Because as I said, if you don't accept me for who I am now, I don't give a damn, because I accept it. I'm happy with my life, and I'm going to live my life. My life is my life, and I have to live it and not have any more regrets, because I honestly regretted a lot of things in my life, and one of them was getting married at a young age. So my advice to you guys, here's what I'm going to say. If you know that you're struggling with identifying who you are, or identifying where you want to be in life, whether that's being with a woman, being with a man, being gay, or whatever, first and foremost, the thing I'm going to tell you to do is focus on what you want to do. Don't focus on what everybody else wants you to do, because in the midst of it, you're going to be unhappy, and that misery is going to show, and you're going to start displaying actions towards other people that's going to come off as if you're hostile, or if you're a nagger, especially women, or even with men for that matter. So my advice to you is just be happy with you. Accept you for you. If you are in love with a certain thing, if you want to do a certain thing, I'm going to say go do it. Don't let the common denominator be other people that decides what, when, and where, and how you do things. That's where I live wrong. I let too many people have too much control over me and my actions and things that I want to do in life. Here on out, I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to live my life for me. And if that's getting boned by a girl, then hey, let it happen. I don't care what y'all think. It's my life, and I'm going to live my life for me. That being said, I know this video is probably a little long. I probably even missed talking about some things, but that's okay because I can always do another video where I missed out on things. I missed out on certain parts or whatever. I don't know. I have a whole, I could tell y'all a whole lot, but if I go into detail, this video will be 2 hours long, and I'm not about to edit no 2 hour long video. But anyways, this is my first get to know me video. I will do more because there's other things that's to get to know about me. I can go into details about other things. You know what? Just let me know if there's something particular that you guys want to see and hear. Just put it in the comment box below, or DM me, message me, say, hey Nidra, well, how did you do this? Or hey Nidra, blah 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 blah. Ask me, and I just may do a video about. I hope you guys enjoy watching this type of video. I hope you guys enjoy watching me talk about me and give you a little bit of backstory and details about how my life transpired and how I got from there to here now. I know it might be a little bit all over the place because I don't have no script. I'm pretty much just going off of my mindset. That's why I said I might have even missed some things. However, I don't have a problem doing another get to know me video. This is pretty much me in a nutshell. May not be all of me, but it's me in a nutshell. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I was a little apprehensive and nervous about doing a video because I didn't want to offend anybody about saying certain things, but how else can you speak if you don't speak the truth? So, like I said, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like this video, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And do not forget to hit that binky ding, the bell, because if you don't, then you won't be notified of when I upload another video. So I am gonna call this video quits, and I will see you guys in my next video. Good night.